Alright, what's going on, guys? As many of you know who've been around for a long time, one of the things that built this channel from the ground up was following Elden Ring's marketing pattern and analyzing everything they were doing to unravel the mystery of when this game was going to come out. Well, now we find ourselves in a similar position. We've had our time with the game, it's had its time to digest, and we're back to that dark zone where we're waiting for those scraps of news. Because a lot of us think Elden Ring DLC isn't that far away, and we have some evidence for that, but if you've been keeping up with Elden Ring, especially over on Twitter, things have been very busy. And Bandai Namco has been doing a lot of things that I didn't expect them to. Even Hidetaka, the parent company of FromSoftware, has been hyping up the game in a way that if you would have told me about a year ago, I wouldn't have believed you. So today we're going to break everything down and we're going to go over what this could possibly mean, because I think this is a very good sign. But first, I need to give a massive shout out to BenQ, because they were cool enough to send me their new Mobius EX321OU monitor, and this thing is insane. No exaggeration whatsoever, guys, this is the most advanced monitor I've ever seen. Let me just list off the specs for you. You'll be playing your games in 4K at 144Hz with less than a millisecond of input time, and of course we can't forget about that HDR. It has a full built-in stereo system, so no need for your own speakers, and the thing is just so clean it looks like it was out of a sci-fi movie. But most importantly, guys, this monitor is able to take advantage of all of the best features of Elden Ring, bringing the graphics to their absolute limit. Now, of course, my phone camera can only pick up so much, but when you're on this monitor playing Elden Ring in 4K, pixels no longer exist. 100% honest, guys, I've never seen Elden Ring look this beautiful before. And if we ever get that ray tracing patch that they said they were going to release a long time ago, I cannot wait to see what it looks like on this monitor. So once again, let me say a huge thank you to BenQ for sending me this, and y'all go show them some love for me. But with that, let's get back into the video. For the first order of business today, we need to talk about a pattern of the Elden Ring marketing that we haven't seen for a long time. I'm sure a lot of y'all remember back before the game came out, after we got that first Summer Games Fest trailer, we had our time in the sun of speculation because the Elden Ring Twitter account was putting out a new screenshot every week with a cryptic message for us to chew on. Now, while they technically aren't showing us anything new, the Elden Ring Twitter account has definitely increased their activity quite a bit, going back to their old schedule of weekly tweets, this time covering characters and bosses and giving us little tidbits of lore. But here's what's interesting. While the information in those tweets isn't really too important, the fact that they're keeping to a consistent schedule now I think speaks volumes. They're not just posting these one-off images just to showcase their game, they're very well edited and actively show that the marketing is still being invested in heavily, even this far from release. And if you know FromSoftware, typically when they release their games, they get released, they market it for quite a while, and then they disappear off the face of the earth. But that seems to be the opposite for Elden Ring. The presence that this game has is still felt everywhere, and that was especially true recently at Pax West. It looked like Elden Ring went all out at that convention. Let me show y'all some of these pictures. Basically what they had set up was a giant scavenger hunt across the entire convention, where you had to hunt down a silver scarab that was moving all across the city, and they were giving out all kinds of prizes, even a full PS5. So whoever won that, congratulations. But that once again shows the investment in the Elden Ring hype right now. But also during this time of PAX West going on, we got a big announcement from Hidetaka where they actually serialized an Elden Ring manga called Road to the Erdtree. Definitely not something I was expecting, but the more you learn about this, the crazier it gets. If I was to think about an Elden Ring manga, I'd probably think about some kind of hype action, borderline horror story that tells the lore of the game. But that's not even close to what we actually got as the official Elden Ring manga now. Believe it or not, it's actually more of a comedy, and I'm not gonna lie, it is pretty funny. It's kind of like a take on those trash isekai animes that you see everywhere, and I don't know how much they're gonna continue this. Currently there's 2 chapters out, but we'll see how it goes. The art is actually really incredible. It looks legit, but the fact that the official manga for this game that Hidetaka decided to serialize was a parody, well, I'm not entirely sure what to make of it. But it was enough to get Elden Ring trending over on Twitter, so it was a good little marketing campaign. But Bandai Namco also made a pretty big move this week by releasing the entire Elden Ring OST over on Spotify. Now, the Elden Ring OST has been public for a long time. It's been on YouTube ever since the game came out, and if you pre-ordered the game or got the collector's edition, then you got the digital download link. But as we all know, the majority of people listen to Spotify, and I'm trying to have the Fortisax theme playing while I'm in the gym. But alongside that, they also released a video of the Budapest Orchestra, who did a majority of the music for the game, performing the Tree Sentinel theme, which they called the Erdtree Knights theme. It's a super cool video. I recommend recommend checking it out. You can find it over on the Bandai Namco YouTube channel. But what's crazy to me is that when they released the Elden Ring soundtrack over on Spotify, they deleted all the Dark Souls soundtracks, which is such a shame, man. I had like 6 songs on my ambience playlist for writing and stuff like that, and I have no idea why they chose to do that. But to go on a little side tangent for a second, no, a majority of the Latin lyrics in Elden Ring do not have any meaning whatsoever. There's a channel out there called Daniel Omos, who makes quote-unquote Latin translation videos for the game's OSTs, and just to clarify, because a lot of people are getting confused by his videos, those are his own made-up lyrics. They're not real, but there is a channel out there who does real ones. Antonius Tertius makes great videos breaking down how the OSTs are constructed, and has proven several times that the Latin lyrics in the game's OSTs are complete gibberish. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Now, the final bit of Elden Ring marketing that we're going to talk about before we break all this down and explain what it means is actually something I'm very excited for. An official art book for Elden Ring with over 800 pieces inside. I've been waiting on this for a long time because honestly the art book that came with the collector's edition was kind of a letdown. But the 2 sample pieces they showed look absolutely incredible. It almost looks as beautiful as the game runs on this BenQ monitor. But we really haven't seen that much of the concept art of Elden Ring. But if it's anything like these 2 pieces here, I am very excited for this book and I'm definitely going to be picking it up. But that does drop on November 30th. Still a ways away, but that is a really cool announcement nonetheless. Now, let me tell you what I think this all really means. I talked about it quite a bit in some recent videos, but like I said, we're entering into that time of year where all the big announcements start to happen. Lots of game shows coming up. I actually think Tokyo Game Show is going to be happening this weekend, and we know Bandai Namco is going to be there. Now, I'm not saying we're going to see Elden Ring DLC there, although it is a possibility, but there is something very strange going on about that. Bandai Namco have made what they're going to show there public, but their very last topic that they're supposed to be showcasing is simply marked by 3 question marks. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be Elden Ring DLC at all. In fact, I really don't think it is. Tokyo Game Show really wouldn't be the best place to showcase Elden Ring, because the majority of Elden Ring's popularity came from hype in the West. So make of that information what you will. But here's the thing, they would not be keeping the marketing alive for this game if there wasn't an announcement on the way. What they're doing right now is building up a little bit of fuel. Every little tweet they send out, every little bit of showcasing they do, like they did at PAX, like the manga that came out, every one of those things is a stick that's being added to a fire. It's not lit yet, but when that announcement comes, that's going to be them striking a match, and the fire is going to be much bigger because of it. Now, I don't think that announcement's going to be too far away at all. Like I said before, if we don't hear anything by the end of this month, I'm going to be very confused, at least in the way of rumors. We also got all that stuff about Armored Core potentially waiting to pop. Personally, I think that would be a much better candidate for Tokyo Game Show than Elden Ring would, just because that type of game is much more familiar to a Japanese audience. There's a lot of other game showcases happening, and they could always just shadow drop something. As for all the announcements that we saw with Elden Ring's release, you can never really predict this kind of thing. Personally, I do think it's a sign of things to come. I'm in the camp that we're going to get the announcement for both Armored Core and Elden Ring DLC this year. And all of this marketing they're doing, all this hype that they're keeping alive is all pointing towards that. And it all lines up with what Katakawa said several months ago, that they're going to be keeping the hype alive until they make ways for people to keep buying Elden Ring. And for me, when I hear that, what that means is Elden Ring DLC. But let me know what you think down below. What do you think of all this marketing? We really haven't seen this level since pre-release, and it gets me really excited, but what about you? Do you think this is a sign of things to come? Or do you think they're just trying to squeeze out the final bit of sales before the hype completely dies? Either way though, that's going to pretty much do it for the video today. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like on it. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date on all the latest Elden Ring news. And go show some love to BenQ. This really is the best monitor I've ever played on, and Elden Ring has never looked this good. But with all that, I'll catch you in the next one.